Here's how to build a $1 million business in 2024. Hey, I'm Rohan. In the last couple of years, I've built 4 multi-million-dollar businesses from my living room, right from my couch, working from home. And if I wanted to build a 7-figure business in 2024, here's exactly what I would do. So the first thing I would do is start with a clean slate. I'm a dreamer like everybody else, but I prioritize moving those dreams into the here and now. So instead of holding on to some massive idea that will require funding and years of development and investors and bank loans and so on, I want to build something that is super practical that I can execute on starting today. So start with a clean slate, remove the massive crazy dreams, and build something that's practical that is within your current resources. So step 2 is take a look at those resources. So instead of saying, I want to build a business, let me try to raise money to build a business, I say, how much money do I currently have? Let me build a business that matches my resources. So this is a completely different way of looking at it, right? So what can I build starting today with the current resources that I have? And this is going to require me to let go again of these massive, crazy, change the world ideas and build something that is practical and matches my current resources today. Step 3, now if I've done those first 2 steps properly, the business idea that I come up with will probably not be too much fun, right? And that's okay. I don't care if things are fun because I don't build businesses that I'm passionate about making money and providing for my family. So I'm going to let go of that requirement for things to be fun and sexy. And instead, I often know that I will end up building something in an unsexy industry, but I know that's where the money is being made. So step 3 is essentially let go of the need for things to be fun. They don't have to be fun. We're here to build a large business that serves a lot of people. Now, step 4 is a little bit tougher for people sometimes, but essentially it's to say, what business can I build starting today that I can launch in 30 days from now? And 30 days from launch, I get my first customer. So this requires you to be really, really disciplined and not essentially build something where you're spending a year building it out without making money. I say, what can I build right now that I can launch in 30 days, get my first customer in 60 days? This narrows things down a lot and it limits the time for me to risk. It limits me risking resources and it makes me become really, really disciplined on what I actually decide to build. So as I'm deciding what to build, my next step is to figure out what can I get into that has a lot of competition. For most people, they say, I want to build a business where there's not too much competition. You can do that. You can go sell bikinis in Antarctica or something. There's no competition. Perfect business, right? Of course not. It makes no sense. You want to build a business where there is a lot of competition. That competition is vibrant. They're doing well. And the only reason that competition exists is because people are making money. So the goal is to find a vibrant industry with healthy competition where you can go in and put your hat in the ring, right? And that way you can also skip these ideas about validation because the competition is the validation. So skip past validation is nonsensical. You don't need it because we're not building these fantasy ideas. We're building real businesses that serve real people right now. And we want there to be competition because that competition would not exist if not for there being a healthy industry to go after. The next step in this process is one that takes me 1 day. And our business plan is a 1-page business plan. Back in the day, people would make business plans that are like 50 pages and you take your business plan to the bank. That's not how any of this works. A 1-page business plan that essentially tells you what you're selling, who you're selling to, how much work you're going to be putting in, how much you're going to charge, and those types of things. A 1-page business plan is all you need, and you can hit me up. I'll send you one. We're not going to waste any time overthinking any of this. So at this point, people typically go down the path of saying, okay, let me figure out my demographic data, do some market analysis, some market research, figure out the economic outlook, take a look at the GDP. Are we going through a recession? These things don't matter. They sound good because we probably learned them in business school or something, but unless you're selling like offshore drilling software for Japanese companies or something, these things are typically things that people do to stay on the sidelines, to make excuses, to procrastinate, and it's just a waste of time. I started my first $1 million business during a recession. It didn't matter whatsoever. Like, the economic outlook and the GDP does not care about your $7 t-shirt company, right? So let go of that stuff. It is nonsense. It just keeps you, it just gives you a way to make excuses, and it's not how we build businesses. So skip that step. It's nonsense. You don't need it. So next up, and this is going to be weird, tell people about it. And this goes against our basic instincts that we want to build a business in secret. We don't want to tell anybody. We're worried about our idea being stolen. And I want to tell you that ideas hold little intrinsic value. The thing that matters is your execution. But you can start to extract some value from your idea by getting feedback, by massaging it, by pushing and poking it, and really like run it through the ringer by telling people and getting their feedback. So for me, I don't build any businesses in secret. I want to tell the world because people know what to expect. I can make some adjustments along the way, and I can really come out the gate with a product or service that meets people's needs because I've already asked them what they need and had those conversations. So this step is to tell other people what you're building and have some real conversations about it. And don't worry about people stealing your idea. People sit on the bench, they sit on the sidelines with a gazillion ideas already in their head, and yours is just one more on the list. And either way, if your idea can't survive competition, it's not that great to begin with. So this step is to tell somebody. So the next step is focus on what matters. And here's what matters. Is the startup cost low? Like, can you start this for less than a month's salary? That's important. Is there some magic involved? Do you have to solve some other magical thing? Or is it a simple business that already exists and people already understand how that business works? And is there competition that is vibrant and healthy? Because we want there to be competition. We don't want to be the only person. If we're the only person in this space, either we're the smartest person in the world or there's not a business opportunity here in the first place. So once we go through those steps, ask ourselves these questions, we can figure out then how to proceed to the next step. So if at this point your business idea is something that you are passionate about, you've probably made a mistake. And I know that's kind of tough to hear, but most businesses that are viable are not things that human beings are generally passionate about doing. Like, I'm passionate about table tennis, but I'm not trying to turn that into a business, right? I'm far more passionate about providing a good service that has good margins that people are going to buy. So this way, if I forget about my passions, I'm free to work on the best opportunity that arises without any limitations. So while most people are going after fancy mobile apps and going after these sexy businesses, I've made millions by building ugly companies that are not sexy, doing things that nobody wants to do, because those are the things that most predictably pay the bills. So this step is just a gut check. Is this a real thing that people buy all the time? Or is this something that I'm trying to do to fulfill some passion of mine? All right? So just remember that. So at this point, you should be in a pretty good shape to figure out what to build. And just remember, you want to start small. Start small, get your first customer, figure out how things are going, and give yourself an opportunity to get going. But don't work on the thing for months and months and months without getting your first customer. What you'll find is that most of the learning will happen after your first customer, not before. So you can as well just work very diligently to get to your first customer, and that's when 99% of the learning about the business actually starts to happen. So I'll kind of wind this down here, and if there's some interest, I'll turn this into a series and go through day by day how to make this happen. But there's no reason why you can't build a multi-million-dollar business starting with $1 million in 2024. And so let's do it. Subscribe, follow if you want to follow along, and let's see if we can turn this into a series. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.